what's going on? It's Javan Johnson here. You're watching episode number 55 of About 10 Minutes. How you feeling? How you doing? And so this past Tuesday in my blog, in my text blog that I do at eternalexample.com, I was dealing with serving others. And so I kind of want to continue in that mindset on today's episode. And I want to talk about being unselfish. You know, and one of the things about selfishness is sometimes when we think about selfishness, we may think of it in that scenario. For instance, you know, maybe somebody who's stingy or something, you know, somebody who doesn't want to give somebody something. Say, for instance, you're getting ready to go on a road trip with some of your cousins, and so you excited about it, you know, so you get all your stuff packed up. You also get you some snacks together, you know, you get you some sandwiches and some other snack foods that you can have in case you get the munchies, you know, on your road trip, because you know it's going to be a long ride. So anyhow, some time passes. Later on, you're in the vehicle with your cousins, with your other three cousins, and you start getting the munchies, and so you're like, I'm going to give me something to snack on. And you reach for your bag, and you realize, you open up your bag, your main bag, where you thought you put your snacks in there, but the snacks are not there. You went off and you left the snacks at home. So you have nothing to eat, you don't have no water, you don't have nothing. And as time goes on, your other cousins, they start pulling out their food and stuff, and they got a whole bunch of food. I mean, they got like 20 sandwiches a piece, you know, sandwiches, they pulling out their bag, sandwiches overflowing. You know, so you let them know about the situation, like, you know, I left my snack bag, you know, I forgot to put my snack bag in here, so can I maybe get a sandwich or something? They're like, no, you can't have no sandwich. Why they eating on the sandwich, smacking like, no, bro, you should have remembered to bring your sandwich. You can't even have no sandwich. So you're like, okay, fair enough. All right, well, can we stop off, you know, at a fast food restaurant so I can just grab something to eat right quick? No, we don't got time to stop. You know, we don't got time to stop. We got to keep going. You're going to have to wait about 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Then we can stop and get something. They drinking Capri Suns, you know what I'm saying? They eating on their sandwich. They eating potato chips while you sitting there in the corner like, man, you know what I'm saying? They can't even give me one sandwich. There's like sandwiches overflowing up in here. It's like 60 sandwiches in the car between y'all three, and I can't get one sandwich. Sometimes people think of like selfishness. They may think of something in that regard like, wow. They may think of that extreme stinginess. And while that definitely is a form of being selfish, you know, there's other ways that we can be selfish sometimes and not even necessarily realize it. Now, obviously, as Christians, first and foremost, our responsibility is to serve Jesus Christ. You know, and one of the things we have to do is we have to deny ourselves. So we can't just run around just doing whatever we want to do, saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, it's important for us to learn the Bible, understand what it says, understand the way that we should conduct ourselves. So, I mean, at a foundational level, it's important for us, you know, to deny our flesh and to obey God. You know, and then also in our other day-to-day, you know, dealings with people, it's important for us to be considerate of other people. You may have a person, you know, who's in that other situation where if they had food and somebody needed food, they would gladly give somebody food. You can have 2-3 sandwiches. And while they may be okay in that type of scenario, in another scenario, they may not do so well. But I mean, sometimes, for instance, you can have two people. Maybe you have one person that's really into sports. You know, two friends or something. One person is really into sports, and the other friend isn't necessarily really into sports, but they'll support this other person. So they go to all the person's games, you know, all the person's sporting events, all their games, and go support them, cheer them on and whatnot. And then this other person is more into arts and stuff like that, arts and crafts. So they got this big arts and crafts show that they doing, and they say, hey, can you come out to this? I really would appreciate your support. You know, and the other person who normally is always getting supported by this other person, like, no, I don't do arts and crafts. I'm only into sports. You know, you start playing some sports, I'll come out and support you, but I ain't into arts and crafts. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. And it's not like the other person has anything to do or anything like that. They just like, I don't want to go to that because I don't like that kind of stuff. Like those are kind of some different scenarios that I put out there, you know, kind of just to kind of do some illustrations. But I mean, it's very important, you know, that we approach life in a way where we're giving. So being unselfish is definitely an important part of life. I mean, whether you're talking about, you know, at a work situation, in relationships, and I mean, you know, when I say relationships, a lot of times, you know, people may think of like, you know, a courtship type relationship, you know, husband and wife, but even like in a sibling relationship. I mean, sometimes, you know, what you have is you have like a firstborn child, and then the parents are going to have other children, and you know, one of the things there's some changes that happens when the other children come along. Yeah, the parent still loves the firstborn, but the parent also has to cater to the other kids as well and make sure that they're taken care of as well. And so, you know, if the firstborn doesn't understand that, that can lead to some issues. That can lead to some jealousy and that type of thing. So it's very important Even in those type of relationships, for children to understand that early. And even when you look at something like evangelism, it's important to take the focus off of ourselves and to really put it on to the other person, as far as like sometimes if we focus on ourselves, we can sit there and think, well, how are they going to receive this? Are they going to receive the gospel? Are they going to reject it? Are they going to be mean? All that kind of stuff. But instead, we should be focused on the person and out of love for that person. We should want to share the gospel with them, because if they're not saved, they're in a bad situation. They're on their way to hell without Jesus Christ. And so we should share the gospel with them out of love. And you look at it, when we're working together with our brothers and sisters in Christ, it's important that we're unselfish. It's important we're not fighting for attention and trying to shine the spotlight on ourselves. And as we work together, we can get a lot accomplished. But if people aren't working together, then that's when a lot of problems can start. Like with sports. You may have came across a sports team that had a whole lot of talent on that team. A lot of talented players, but the players did not play together. They were in it for themselves. They were trying to get their own stats. And as a result of that, they did not accomplish the goal they set out to accomplish. They didn't win the championship. They didn't reach their full potential. As Christians, we want to reach our full potential in God. So thank you for watching episode number 55 of About 10 Minutes. Have a blessed week.